the Ohio County Public Library's July Staycation Storytime. My name is Miss Jennifer, and this is Miss Ellie, and we're so glad that you joined us for our kind of virtual vacation on the beach. It's one of my favorite places to go for a vacation. You know, last week we started by learning about and hearing some stories about going to the beach. Do you remember the sign language for beach? Remember, you're going to put your hands together, and it's like kind of waves in front of you. Good job. Well, today we're actually going to go under the water and do some exploring and learn about some different types of fish. And so the sign language for fish was what we're going to learn today. So you're going to just kind of do one hand, kind of on its side, and it's just going to swim. Pretty easy. Fish. That's the sign language for fish. Good job. Well, let's get our alligators out today. Are you ready? A is for alligator, chomp, chomp, chomp. B is for bouncing, so we'll hop, hop, hop. C is for circle, so let's turn around. And D is for we all sit down. So time to have a seat, maybe your favorite chair or on the floor. Get yourself comfortable. This is a story called Bright Stanley, and the author is Matt Buckingham. Bright Stanley. Far below the waves, a little fish named Stanley lived with his school. They were the brightest, sparkliest fish of the deep, dark sea. One morning, Stanley woke up late. "Hello, it's me," he called to his friends. But the reef was strangely quiet. Suddenly, Stanley remembered that today was the day his fish swam to cooler waters for the summer. "Jumping jellyfish," he groaned, and he hurried to the meeting point as fast as his fins could carry him. But no one was there. As he looked around, he saw a bright light. "Aha! They haven't gone far," he said, and he raced towards the glow. Do you see the glow right there? It's in like an old ship. But it was only a lobster counting coins. "Go away! Don't touch my treasure," the lobster growled, snapping his claws. "I'm looking for my friends," said Stanley. "Fish," the lobster grumbled. "Those others were in such a hurry to find someone that they upset my coins." "Others," said Stanley. "My friends?" "Join them then," snarled the lobster, and Stanley sped off. Ahead of him, Stanley saw a shimmer. He could just make out a bright, sparkly fish. One of his friends. "Hello, it's me," he called, swimming faster. Clonk! Stanley crashed headfirst into something hard. "Jumping jellyfish," he cried. It wasn't one of his friends at all, but his own reflection in a shiny pearl. Stanley rubbed his bumped nose, feeling a little dazed. He didn't notice a dark shape coming up behind him. Oh no, what do you think it is? When he turned around, Stanley found himself staring straight into the mouth of a huge, shark! Did you guess it? Whoops, I must have skipped a page. "Ah!" Stanley shrieked. Over coral and under weeds he sped with the shark snapping at his tail. Finally, Stanley saw a small hole in a rock below. He dived down inside to just miss being gobbled up. Deep within the cave, Stanley shivered and shook. He felt sad and lonely. He was beginning to think he'd never see his friends again. "Well, I can't stay here forever, he said at last. Stanley poked his head out of the cave to see if the shark had left. Jumping jellyfish, he squealed. The sea was a golden orange, glowing and glittering. It was the most wonderful sight he had ever seen because there in front of him were his friends. Hello, it's me, he called. Stanley, his friends cheered. Where have you been? We've been looking all over for you. And Stanley told them his adventures as they swam off in one bright, sparkly, happy school. The end. The end. Bright Stanley. Wasn't that really pretty? Did you see the sparkles on in his shells and stuff? I bet that really made him feel really special. Well, I've got a story about a fish who did not feel very special. And his name was Mitch the fish. And Mitch was this wonderful blue fish that lived in the ocean. But he didn't feel very happy being a blue fish because everything in the ocean, like the water, was all blue too. And so Mitch felt kind of bad. He didn't feel very special being blue. But then he remembered some special words that he had learned, some magic words that he had learned and that he had been taught when he was growing up. And it went like this. I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my colors whenever I wish. And so Mitch wondered if it would really, really work. And so he was kind of swimming along one day when all of a sudden he saw a crab. And the crab was red. And he thought, wow, it would be so cool if I could be red. I wonder if my magic words would work. I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my colors whenever I wish. And just like that, bling, Mitch changed to the color red. But when the crab saw Mitch, he said, hey, wait a minute, I'm the only one that's supposed to be red around here. If you don't change your hue, I'm gonna snap you. Oh, I don't want to get snapped by a crab, said Mitch. Oh, I better look around for another color to be. And so as he looked around, he saw a lovely orange seahorse. Wow, orange would be a great color to be, thought Mitch. So he sang his magic words. I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my colors whenever I wish. And bling, just like that, Mitch changed to the color orange. Oh, wow, said Mitch, this is great. But as soon as the seahorse saw Mitch, he said, hey, wait a minute. I'm the only fish that's supposed to be orange in the sea. If you don't change your hue, I'm going to prickle you with the spines down my back. Oh, man, I don't want to get prickled by a seahorse, said Mitch. So he looked around, and he looked around until he saw a jellyfish. Oh, wow, a pink jellyfish. Pink would be a great color to be, thought Mitch. So he sang his magic words. Can you sing them along? I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my colors whenever I wish. And bling, just like that, Mitch changed to the color pink. But when the jellyfish saw Mitch, he said, hey, you, I'm the only fish that's supposed to be pink. If you don't change your hue, I'm gonna zap you with my tentacles. I don't want to get zapped by jellyfish tentacles, said Mitch. Man, who knew the ocean was such a dangerous place? Mitch looked around and looked around, and he saw an octopus. And the octopus was yellow. Wow, yellow would be a great color, thought Mitch. Let's sing it again. I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my color whenever I wish. And bling, just like that, he changed from pink to yellow. But as soon as the octopus saw him, he said, hey, you, I'm the only fish that's supposed to be yellow down here. If you don't change your hue, I'm gonna squeeze you with my big giant arms. I don't want to be squeezed by octopus arms, said Mitch. Oh, man. You know what? I think I just want to be plain old me again. I wonder if my magic words will work for that. I'm Mitch the fish, I can swim and I swish, and I can change my color whenever I wish. And just like that, Mitch wished to be blue again, and he was the most beautiful blue fish in all the ocean. The end. Yay! That was so much fun. I love telling stories about the ocean. Miss Ellie's got some fun stories to share too this morning.
I do. The story I'm going to tell you is about snappy little splashers. Little turtle's on her way. Her journey's just begun. She's looking for some ocean friends to splash within the sun. When a whale is on your tail, you better keep away. He'll splash around and wave his tail and soak you with the spray. These jellyfish take their time like an easy ride. They barely seem to swim at all, floating upon the tide. With the splash, these funny fish leap into the sky. Watch them gliding overhead. These fish can really fly. Anglerfish lies in the dark, his lantern shining bright. He's hoping that a little friend will stop and take a bite. And deep beneath the ocean, there lurks a sneaky shark. He creeps around the shipwrecks, scaring the fish in the dark. If a pufferfish is scared, he doesn't like to hide. He'll puff and blow right up until he's twice as wide. Eels love playing hide and seek beneath the ocean waves, but look at what she's found to chase among the rocks and caves. Watch the dolphins dive and play and leap so very high. When the time for us to go, they'll wave and say goodbye. The end. That's a cute one. I also have another story about some fish. Can you guys help me count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good job. 5 little fishies swimming near the shore. The red snapper took a bite, and then there were 4. Good job. 4 little fishies swimming through the sea. The orange roughy swam away, and then there were 3. Good job. 3 little fishies in the ocean blue. The pink salmon took a seahorse ride, and then there were only 2. You guys beat me to it. 2 little fishies swimming in the sun. The yellow perch swam too far, but then there's only 1. 1 little blue marlin, now all alone. I'll put you in my fishbowl and take you right home. The end.
Yay! Good job. Oh, wow. Man, did you know there were so many different types of fish in the ocean? There's so many. Let's get ready to sing a song about 3 little fish. Okay, so we're going to learn a new song today. So we're going to hold up 3 fingers, okay? And it goes, 3 little fish, 3 little fish. And then we're going to make them swim. So we're going to put our hands together. See how they swim, see how they swim. Round and fast they go. So can you do them really fast? Fast they go. Now they are going very slow. So we're going to make them go slow. 3, and then we're going to hold up our fingers again. 3 little fish, 3 little fish. Can you do that with me? All right, here we go. 3 little fish, 3 little fish. See how they swim, see how they swim. Round and fast they go. Now they are going very slow. 3 little fish, 3 little fish. Good job, guys. That was kind of fun.
That was fun.
We're going to, a couple of weeks ago when we were doing music, I think, we did a shadow play. Now, we're going to do a shadow play for you today, and it's based on a book called Swimming by the author Leo Leone. So let's go do a shadow play to finish up today. We're finished with our stories anyway. All right. So we are. A school of little fish lived in a corner of the sea somewhere. They were all red. Only one of them was as black as a mussel shell, and he swam faster than his brothers and sisters, and his name was Swimmy. One day, a tuna fish, swift and fierce and very hungry, came darting through the waves and in one gulp swallowed all the little red fish, and only Swimmy escaped. He swam away in the deep, wet world. He was scared and very lonely and very sad. But the sea was full of wonderful creatures, and he swam from marvel to marvel, and Swimmy was happy again. He saw a Medusa jellyfish and a lobster who walked about like a water-moving machine. He also saw some strange fish that were pulled by an invisible thread. He saw a forest of seaweeds growing from sugar candy rocks, and an eel whose tail was almost too far away to remember, and sea anemone who looked like little palm trees swaying in the wind. Then, hidden in a dark shade of rocks and weeds, he saw a school of little fish, just like his own. "Let's go and play and swim and see things," he said happily. "We can't," said the little red fish. "The big fish will eat us all." "But you can't just stay there. We must think of something," said Swimmy. And so Swimmy thought and thought and thought. And then suddenly he said, "I have it! We are going to swim all together like the biggest fish in the sea." And he taught them how to swim close together. He taught them how to swim close together, each in his own place. And when they had learned to swim all like one giant fish, he said, "I'll be the eye." And so they swam in the cool of the morning and in the midday sun, and they chased the big fish away. The end. Here we go. Woo!
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun? Oh, wow. I love the story of Swimmy the fish. It's a really famous story. You might want to check that one out sometime. Speaking of famous fish that are book characters, probably a fish that you might know is a fish called rainbow fish. So I've got a fun activity. I've kind of got a couple of different activities that you could do with your preschoolers at home. One of them is a math activity, and it's called Roll a Color. So something that you could do with your preschoolers, you could draw out a fish. I printed this one off of the internet. And then have some different colors. You're going to need 6 colors of construction paper because there are 6 sides on a die, okay? And so what you would do is you would let your preschooler roll the dice, and you would establish a code for each numeral that the dice might fall on. So I have just rolled a 6, so we're building some coding skills as well as some math skills as we begin to identify our numbers. 6 means that I'm going to place a red square on my rainbow fish. And so it's kind of fun. There are a lot of different skills that are being used whenever you do an activity like this. And so you can just start to make your own rainbow fish with your child. Let them roll the dice, Oh, I got 6 again. So that means I get red again. I'm gonna put some glue and I'm gonna put my red square down, all right? And just kind of work on it until you've got, you could even put some foil squares so that rainbow fish would really have some shine to them, or if you've got some little glittery bits of paper, that would be a lot of fun to really make a truly rainbow fish, all right? So a fun math activity. One of my favorite things that we've done before here a couple of months ago was this activity, the science activity that we're going to talk about. So what I've done is if you've got some foam, now I used a white piece of foam, I just created a fish shape, and on the tail I've notched out a little rectangular groove. Now, in order to color your fish, you're going to need to let your preschoolers use some permanent markers. It's about the only way that it'll stick to the foam. Foam works best for this activity, okay? You're going to need like a baking dish. I'm using this foil tin pan that we've got, and you're going to need to put about 1 inch of water in the bottom of the pan. All right. Then take the fish that your preschooler has created. You're going to put it at one end of the pan, and then you're going to need some dish detergent. You're going to want to drop one little drop of dish detergent right where that little groove is, and when you do, the fish will speed across the pan. Isn't that fun? You could kind of have some races, maybe have several kids going at the same time to see whose fish wins and gets across the pan the fastest. The one thing that you do want to do is once there's very much soap in the water, it won't work. The experiment won't work anymore. So you'll need to just empty out the pan, clean your fish, and get some fresh water in there, and it'll work again. What's happening in this experiment has to do with the surface tension of water. So when the dish detergent hits the water, it starts to break apart the water molecules, and so it sends the fish going forward, okay? So really easy, super fun science, okay? The last thing we like to do, we like to usually do something that has to do with motor skills. We've done, and you've probably done this a million times at home with your kiddos, where you play like a fishing game with maybe some little fish that you've got magnets or like a little paper clip in here. So I wanted to come up with something a little bit different, or show you something different. I've taken some pipe cleaners, okay? And I'm just going to fold them so that you have a little fish shape with the pipe cleaners, okay? So this is gonna work a little bit different motor skills. I'm going to put several of these fish in my water. This is my water. And I have taken a paper clip and opened it up on one end to kind of create a hook. And so the idea is that your preschooler is going to have to use their hand-eye coordination, okay, to try to catch a fish on the hook, okay? Let's see if we can, I got one, and there we go, okay? So a little bit different way. If you've done the one fishing game with magnets, maybe do something a little bit different. This is going to be more challenging. So definitely good for older preschoolers that can really work on that hand-eye coordination, okay? So pipe cleaners twisted like a fish, and an open paper clip that you can kind of, what they're doing is kind of having to hook or scoop up that fish, all right? Fantastic, I hope you've had fun today. Let's get ready to sing a song before we go. One of our favorites is to do the hokey pokey, right? So we're gonna do the fishy pokey. Are you ready? Are you standing up? We're gonna start with our fins, all right? Fish fins. You put your fins in, you put your fins out, you put your fins in, and you shake them all about. You do the fishy pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. How about your fish lips? You put your fish lips in, you put your fish lips out, you put your fish lips in, and you shake them all about. You do the fishy pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. How about your whole body? You put your whole body in, you put your whole body out, you put your whole body in, and you shake it all about. You do the fishy pokey and you turn yourself around, and that's what it's all about. Good job! All right. Well, I can't wait. I hope you join us next week. Next week is Shark Week.
I'm excited.
So it's going to be so much fun. We'll have stories about sharks and other kind of the creepy, scary kinds of animals that you might see in the ocean, all right? So it's time for our hands to give thanks. Are you ready? Our hands give thanks with a clap, clap, clap. Our feet give thanks with a tap, tap, tap. Clap, clap, clap. Tap, tap, tap. We roll them together and we wave goodbye. See you next time.